Hi there, my name is Bethany Barnard. I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin Up, and I've been going through a series of projects using the Window Wishes bundle that can be found in the July to December mini catalog. This is project number 7. In project number 2, I go through some of an explanation of why I think this is such a worthwhile stamp set. And I'd love for you to check project 2 and hear what I have to say about that. It's partly because the variety that's in the stamp set with 20 stamps, but also these lovely coordinating dies that include the dies that cut images out, but also this window die, some landscaping pieces, and this bow. So there's even more with the dies. So we're going to get started on this card, and this is called a floating pop-up card because when you open this window, which I just like the idea of even opening a window, you have these two pieces that come up and they look like they're floating. It's a very simple and easy card to make, and I'm looking forward to taking you through to make that. I'm going to take out each of the pieces and I'll give you the dimensions of those and explain them as we go along. Now the first thing is that I did the window pieces and I cut out the outside frame piece in our silver foil, but rather than have a silver sectional piece to the window, I cut that out in white. And you're gonna see that there's pieces that go in here that were also white, but I sponged them with the pool party color because that's also in my DSP, and I just think it gives more of a look of the outside to it. So I have those pieces, and there are these little pieces that I have together on a piece of tape here that will slot inside each of these upper window pieces, and that will make sense, more sense as we put this together. Okay, so in addition to those window pieces, I've already stamped and cut out the swag, and I've also cut out one of the bows. And we have two pieces here that are used for the mechanism, and they're really very simple to, you can just make these square if you want. I made them rectangular, but it would just mean that you'll have 4 sections. Every other section has to be equal in size. This is just 3/4 of an inch by 3.5 inches. And then I have a 1 inch, and then I cut it at 1 3/4, and then 2 3/4. And I have 2 pieces like that. So again, 3/4 by 3.5 inches, scored at 1 inch, 3/4 of an inch, 1 3/4 of an inch. And you have those set. And then we have this outside red piece where we're gonna adhere the window, and it is 3 1/4 by 4.5 inches. And then we have 2 pieces of designer series paper, and this paper is from the Candy Cane suite. And I have cut these at just under 2 inches, 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. And that will give us that border we want around there. So I have 2 pieces cut at 1 7/8 by 5 1/4. You can use any kind of DSP that you think would make a nice background. You're gonna need 2 1/4 inch squares, and then 2 2-inch white squares. And then this is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece, but it is scored at 2 1/8 from either side. Now I tend to score it 2 1/8 and then turn it and scored it 2 1/8. But if you want to know what that other measurement is, you would score it 2 1/8 and then at 6 3/8 to get this gate fold. And then we're gonna have our inside piece, which is white, and that's just gonna be our 4 inches by 5 1/4. So those are all the pieces that you need to make this card. we'll put them over here as we start to put the card together. I'll leave this here for you to be able to see at the front. I did want to tell you, as I said, I did some of this work ahead of time, but I just wanted to show you that what I did to make this window, see, I thought the window here that I actually used the pool party cardstock was just that little bit too dark for me. And so I decided that on this card, I was just gonna take some of the pool party, and this is what I already did in advance, but I'm just gonna show you how it's done. But I just took some of the pool party, and then I just put a little bit of that color on here, just to keep it from being stark white, but also not too dark for what would be a look of the outside from a window. So that's what I did. And then using this window die, I then punched it out. Not punched, obviously. I put it through my embossing machine, my emboss and die cut machine. Okay, so as I said, I did do that earlier, and here are those pieces for that. Okay, the first thing to do, and easiest thing to do, is actually to put the DSP on here. So we'll do that. As soon as I start gluing pieces to my card, I always know that I'm at that point of no return with my video. And I'm gonna just keep going because I've only really prepped one card for this video. And I really like the candy cane stripe for all of the holiday festivity. So I've kept those colors in mind. They have the garden green, the pool party, and the real red. So that's what we're using on this card. Those are some of the colors we're using on this card. The only colors after that I'm using is soft suede for a tree and a roof. And then I'm gonna also use Mango Melody for some, on the candles, it will be the flame. Otherwise, it's these three colors that you see here. Okay, on this piece here, which is the real red, this is what I'm gonna use, the Very Best Trio Punch. I love this Trio Punch. Just remember, you get a different punch if you put the piece in this way or this way. So you see, this is, if it's square, it won't matter. You'll just, well, you still probably have to flip over. But if you have a rectangular piece, you have to keep in mind that you're always having the long piece come out, or you're always having the short piece come out. Whatever it is, you just have to stay consistent. So I have the long piece coming out, so I'm gonna flip this over so I still have a long piece coming out. Then I'm gonna flip it this way, have the longer side coming out, and then this way with the longer side coming out. And that way, instead of a rounded edge here, I get a cute design. I love this punch because it's so much quicker than, say, using a die, and it just continues to be quick and easy for you, and yet you get this nice framework. So the main thing you want to remember at this point is that you're only going to put glue on one side of it because you need this to be able to open. So I'm going to take my glue, and I'm literally gonna just do, this is such good glue, it's strong. I'm not gonna go as far as halfway over because then I know I'm safe when I put this card on the front. And I'm just basically centering it. There we go. And now I'm gonna take my foil window pane, and I believe that this time I was smart enough. Look, I ran this through with our adhesive sheets. So I put it on the back of the foil, and then I ran it through the die cutting machine, and that allows me to, trying to figure out where I want this. I'm gonna put these two corners, whoops, down in here. That allows you just pull off that plastic piece and you don't have to worry about getting the glue on it. Now I wish I could say I was as smart when it came to doing this white piece, but I think it was after I cut this through that I realized, ooh, what a good idea that would be. So I'm gonna have to, on the skinnier part, go ahead and glue that up with my liquid glue here. Especially intricate pieces, to use those adhesive sheets makes so much sense. Okay, that looks good. It probably has a little bit more glue than it needs, but we're gonna still be putting paper on the inside of this. So if the glue comes out onto the inside, we'll be okay, because we're gonna use that too. So that looks good. Whoa. As long as it sticks. I've got glue already on my fingers. So if I wipe that up, I think I'll have more luck here. Use a finger that doesn't quite have any glue on it. And we're gonna put this over at the side now, because we're going to actually stamp on this image. And what I have, I've taken it out of the screen, but I've done these Merry Wishes on the outside and these candles. So I'm going to do that again. The candles are in the real red. And I really want it to come right at the bottom, because it's supposed to be sitting on the windowsill. So there we go. Yeah, I like that. And then Mango Melody for the flames. I love these flames, because it comes in two pieces, so it makes it so easy. You don't have to color in any of these stamps because they're all bold, which makes it so much quicker to use. And then I'm gonna put Merry Wishes on the window. Oops, I have those right here. Just try my best to center that. Okay, and now I actually want to put a little bit of snow coming down from the outside, that they would see from the outside. So I'm going to use my pool party. And not too much, but I'm just going to come around, because that's what you would theoretically see out the window if you had a snowy day. And then I don't want to forget these pieces that will also be in the window, so I'm going to put some snow in them as well. And as I said, these are the pieces that I taped together after die cutting them. There we go. Okay, so we're going to start by putting this one in here. See, I like how this is so much lighter than the Pool Party cardstock for the window. If you get glue on this silver foil, you just really can just keep moving it with your finger and that'll come up. All right. Did I already glue that in? Did I? You guys would have watched me. No, I didn't. It was just staying attached. Okay. So let's see. So I'm going to put this in. And then I'm going to take just a little bit of this glue and put it in each side of these windows. And my take your pick tool is not right by me, so I'm gonna just go ahead and do this the old-fashioned way, but boy, I love that take your pick tool. So you can see these pieces fit right in. Something satisfactory, like you're finishing a puzzle or something. And then it looks like you have these candles on your window, but outside is snowing. So the next bit you're going to do for the outside, not the outside of the card is what I meant, but like the inside of, I'm imagining this is your inside of a house, the window. So I'm just going to put a little glue on it. Once you have all these pieces, it really doesn't take long to put the card together. Turn it this way. There we go. The beauty of the liquid glue is that you do have some time to move it if you don't like where you've centered it, but it also will pop up if you get to it a little bit too soon. All right, and then I'm going to put the bow on. And I just literally put a little bit of glue right in the center of this. And then I put the bow right up here. You've got these pieces here that show you where the center of the card is. So that's nice. And there we finished the outside of this card. And now for the inside, you'll see that we did the words for lots of joy at Christmas. And you have to have them over enough for you to show this 2-inch card. This saying is a little bit thinner, so it's a little bit easier to put in. But we're going to do that in garden green. Okay. Because we have to glue that piece in first before we make the 2 scenes that float or appear to float. And so I like to keep in mind too that chances are I'd like to sign this card. So I want to make sure I leave enough room here for that. And then I'm going to put for lots of joy at Christmas, because you have Merry Wishes on the outside. And then we're going to just put for lots of joy at Christmas there. And then we can go ahead and put this inside the card. Okay. And then we're going to go ahead and work on those 2 floating scenes. And then we'll go through how you actually put them inside the card. There we go. All right, so I have my 2 white squares here, and you'll see that on this one I did a tree, a hill, the car going down the hill with a tree on top and snow on the outside. And I like that, so I'm going to just repeat that again. And I'm going to start with my hill, so I know where to put my car. I'll just do that right here. And then I'm going to use the soft suede and put my tree in. And I'm gonna, it doesn't have to have that full tree, so I'm just gonna put that off to the side. Actually, I'm going to turn that over. This is really fine, but when I see what I did before, I don't know if this even matters because the tree is virtually in the same place, but my hill's lower, and I like that. So I'm going to turn it over and make a lower hill and a higher tree. But it doesn't matter if you do the tree or the hill first. So I'm going to do the tree first this time because, as I said, I didn't mind my placement of the tree at all. It was just the hill. And then in the pool party. And I'm just gonna do that there. I'm kind of wishing that my hill extended the whole way, so I'm extending it a little bit there. There's actually even another smaller piece to this, but because they're photopolymer, it's pretty easy to see through and put that where you want it. So I'm gonna do my car in red. And then you add the wheels. So, and I've got ink on my block, but I'm confident I'm still gonna be able to get this done. There's my car. And then, oh dear, we're gonna have brown wheels. I forgot my black ink here. So, you're gonna want your Memento black as well. I didn't bring that out today, but I'm okay with brown wheels. And then a garden green Christmas tree. So this set comes with a singular Christmas evergreen tree and a double one. So I'm going to use the singular one here to put the tree on the car, I guess. So that's this image done. Oh no, we have to have snow. Remember, it's snowing outside. So we're gonna take the snow stamp. Oops. And just have snow coming down. I used to live in New England. I love that I don't have to bundle up too much living here in Florida, but I do miss, I could do with another white Christmas in my life. Okay, the other image, we're gonna start with the house, and I'm gonna also do that house in real red. And this house already comes as if it's on a bank or a hill. So to make sure you put it on straight, you're just gonna be looking and making sure that the side of the house is parallel to the side of your cardstock. This really is an easy stamp set to use, and I just love that you don't have to color it in. I like coloring. It's not that I don't like coloring in, but if you're trying to make a lot of Christmas cards quickly, it isn't going to happen if you're taking the time to color in. So then I've just, ooh, I put my stamp on wrong. Well, that's kind of cool, because then you can make the stamp go the other way, right? I'm glad I caught that when I did. But you kind of figure that out when you go to put the roof on and it doesn't work. So here we go. A roof. And now, again, we're going to put, I'm actually using different lines this time. It's got a little bit of a curvature for the house, but not quite a steep hill going down. And then I'm going to put my double trees in, again in this garden green. Ooh. Yep, needed to make sure I put this stamp on correctly. I think that's right. All right, And then we're just going to put that here. And you can see the cars coming home with the Christmas tree as they decorate this house up. And then we want to put some snow in again. Snow is so random, and yet I feel like I have to worry about the placement, but really you don't. It just works. There we go, 2 snow scenes. So that was easy, right? Okay. So now I'm going to take my 2 matte pieces that are 2 1/4 by 2 1/4, and I will glue them on. And I just tend to go around the perimeter of the piece that I'm gluing on. And I have every confidence that it will be secure enough for quite a bit of use of opening and closing. I'm trying to get this video done quickly. I've got my son and my 3 grandkids coming up today. My youngest son's getting ready to move away, and we're having a Italian party. I'm dressing up, playing Italian music, eating Italian food. My daughter made some tiramisu. My son's gonna make some chicken parmesan. So it should be fun. Okay, so now these pieces will be going in here. And we just have to add the mechanisms to make that happen. So I'm going to move this card and show you just how easy that is. It should be scored directly in the middle. So you can just fold it in half. But basically you want all the score marks to be folded in the same direction. Right, so it's going to make, in this case, it's going to make a rectangle. But you can make a square. It's not really that important, and sometimes it's easier to figure out what a square would be because it would be all 4 equal parts. But while it's flat, you're going to remember that you want the fold to come out to the center of your card. Okay, so this fold will be here and this fold will be here. So what you do is you put on the very last panel, you put some glue, and then with that upside down, I'm going to take these out right now. We'll add those in a little bit. So you're going to take this right up to the fold of your card, and you're going to just put that piece down. And some of you may have noticed this is actually a piece of Poppy Parade up against this real red. You may notice that, but I went ahead and used it because it was some scraps of Poppy Parade that I had, and I knew that you don't see this mechanism anyway, so it would be close enough. You could make these white as well if you wanted to. So now you're gonna put some glue on the one section closest to that fold, and you're gonna shut it. And then remembering that you have to give it a certain amount of time for the glue to adhere and stick, you're going to pull it up and you'll see it makes that rectangle, right? Theoretically, you should be able to open it all the way. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing. So you can watch this again. If you didn't get it the first time, we'll go through it again. You're folding this in half, but that's after you've already folded it all on all of its score marks. But you're going to fold it in half, and you're going to put some glue on the bottom piece, that section. Make sure the fold goes out to the center of your card here, and you're going to adhere that down. So here we go. And so I'm going to put that down again. Here's the fold side, and then I'm taking it right up to where the fold is here. So the fold side of the mechanism is in the center of the card, inside of the card, and the open piece is up against, right? Okay, so again, you're going to put glue only on the closest section to the fold. And then you shut the card. You wait long enough to feel like that liquid glue has grabbed it and is pretty stuck. And then you can open it and you see that comes up too. And you can, as I said before, you should be able to make this fold completely open, okay? All right, and now what you're gonna do is put these scenes on that you created. And the way you do that is you put glue on the top part of this mechanism. And what you wanna make sure you don't do is go outside of the card, too tall for the card, because if you do that, it won't fit in the envelope. Whoops. So you can, while you're waiting for the glue to dry, you can fold it flat down again and just press it until you're pretty sure that that has taken. And it has, so that looks good. And now we'll do the other scene. Again, putting the glue just on that last section. And then again, fold it over. And then I like to open it and just make sure it's really butted up against that inside. And it is. And so you'll close it. Again, make sure that you have really got a good adherence to it, and voila, you've got your floating card. I hope you like that. It was really pretty simple, don't you think? Now, once again, I've showed this in some of the other projects. It's our Pearlized Enamel Effects, and this is real red. When you buy a package of these, you get a white, you get silver, and you get real red. And I like to just put a little bit of this. It takes a while to dry. So I like to just put a little bit of this on my swags and anything that might have berries or a Christmas tree for ornaments. And it just adds that little bit more red in the greenery. Very easy to use. As I said, the main thing is the time it takes to dry. I would even use this in a class. I would just make sure it's one of the last things, or, well, actually, I'd probably make sure it was one of the first things they did and have them all set it aside somewhere safe where nobody's gonna mess it up. And then you have it, your finished card. You're looking out the windows, you've got this snowy scene outside, and look what I just did. So after telling you somewhere where it's safe, I just totally wiped that away. Okay, but we'll be okay. I'm just gonna add it again. And this time I'm not gonna make that same mistake. It only takes about less than an hour for it to dry, but still. So there you have it. Merry wishes for lots of joy at Christmas. May happy moments and wonderful memories be yours this season. And may that be so. Thanks for watching.